Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let's Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today, and I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. We had snow here in New York, which is quite pleasant, quite lovely. So, that's fun. But it's good to see you all. Good to see you, Bad Rocks. Good to see you, Brayherd. Good to see you, Gale. Good to see you, Inca. Good to see you, JM. Good to see you, Kit. Good to see you, me. Good to see you, Mel. I think that's everyone. And congratulations to Roxy. You have won the crown of Furstendom this day. Why can't I hear myself? You have won the crown of Furstendom this day. A crown of rubber boots because you like to party. That's a joke basically just for Gale and Roxy. But anyway, good to see everyone. Hope you're doing well. And Gale, thank you for making me have to read the words Sora jockey with my own eyes. I can never come back from that. But there is, in fact, Metal Chocobo. That is a thing in Kingdom Hearts 1. Presumably Chocobos exist somewhere. Hey, Trekkie. So, anyway, yeah. Anything else in chat going on? Y'all counting great again. Ferd, 11D, 60, 11D. Your thrift, fantastic. 10 out of 10. Sorry, 11D out of 10. Anyway, let's wrap up Dream Drop Distance, shall we? Let's dive on in. It loud. Hey, Chizo. The credits. Summarizing for us the plot of all the other Kingdom Hearts in pantomime. Anyway, it's a rave. I mean, that boss fight is kind of a rave. Anyway, last time we defeated Ansem as Riku, and then we found out Riku is a Dream Eater in Sora's dreams. When they put lightsabers in Kingdom Hearts, that's Kingdom Hearts 2. That's... Technically, that happens in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. We have been through a lot to get here. Is that an Anamanaguchi reference?
So sleepy.
Well, I guess we're done playing as Riku. Nice.
As your flesh bears the sigil, so your name shall be known as that of a recusant.
Oh, right. We were doing this fight, and it went poorly several times. You just kicked me. I'm trying to block. I was trying to block. It was not going well. What happens if I exit battle? Okay. I want to edit this command deck just a wee bit. I don't think Triple Plasma's gonna do what we need to. I think I'm gonna put some drop. You don't get to block lightsabers except with other lightsabers. Yeah, but I have a Keyblade.
Yes. Ah.
Okay, I can't go below 1.6. How'd that work for you? Well, the problem is I kept moving. That was the real punishing factor. Because Sora's block and Sora's dash are the same button, but are dependent on whether he's moving or not. Remember the parry mechanic in Kingdom Hearts 1? Ooh. I mean, that was fun because you could grind for some XP that way.
Yeah. Ha.
Hey, we don't need to see this cutscene. We saw it last time. Or this cutscene. It is a little painful.
As your flesh bears the sigil, so your name shall be known as
I mean,
that
my flesh isn't really
of a
bearing the
recusant.
sigil. It's really more my clothing. It's like from a high-end Japanese designer, so, you know.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Take this. Ha. Yeah. Yeah. Ha. Oh. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Yeah.
We're just gonna take turns blocking each other, apparently. Nope, nope, no.
Yeah. Hey. Ha. Yeah. Ha.
See, and if Sora's not on the ground, he will also dash.
Ha. Ha. Back away. Oh. Yeah. Here. Yeah. Back away. There. Ha. Oh. Freeze. Heal. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Oh.
Ow!
Oh.
So rude.
Ha. Oh. Oh. Ha. Yeah. Oh.
And my counterattack is like no damage.
Oh. Here. Yeah. Oh. Hey. Yeah. Ha. Oh. Yeah. Ha. Heal. Oh. Yeah. Let's go.
What if we did a little Whomper Stomp? Uh-oh. Am I hungry? I will fulfill that request after this boss fight, or the next time I die, which is the more likely.
Ha. This. Ha. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Back off. Oh. Freeze. Oh. Oh. Ha. Heal. Oh. Yeah. Ha. Oh. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Ha. Oh. Hey. Ha. Oh. Yeah. Heal. Ha. Yeah. Yeah. Ha. Back off.
Rude. Canceling out my Ars Arcanum.
Oh. Heal. Oh. Ha. Oh. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, we have him down 4 of 10 health bars.
Yeah. Yeah. Take this. Ha. Yeah. Oh. Hey. Ha. Yeah. Ha.
Well, my companions healed me. I didn't notice. Because I don't shout it out like Donald.
Yeah, yes.
There.
Here. Yeah.
Buddy, you tried the buildings already. They didn't work the first time.
Yeah.
Disappears.
Yeah. Yeah. Here. Freeze.
Despair.
Yeah. Ha.
I hit the button to do the thing.
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
the
Ha.
drop.
Yeah.
Build, whatever they call it.
Ha. Yeah. Ha. Ha.
There.
Yeah. Yeah. Here. Ha. Ha. Yeah. Ha. Okay. Yeah. Ha. Take this. Ha.
Nice. Good hits on the Ard's Arcanum there. We have him down to
Fire.
3 hit health bars left.
Here. Ha. 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 Yeah. Ha. Ha.
There.
Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Ha. Yeah.
There. Take that.
Yeah.
Right.
Back off.
Ah!
Ha. Yeah.
Right.
Ha. Ha. Hey. Ha.
Right.
Ha. Here. Back off.
Ah, he cheated.
Ha. Ha. There. Yeah. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Yeah. Yeah. Here. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Yeah. Ha. 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 Yeah. Ha. Ha. Yeah.
Take that.
Ha. Yeah.
There.
Ha.
Take that.
Yeah. Ha. Yeah.
Take that.
Ha. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close. It's just a slow and steady fight.
Disappears.
Yeah. Here. Freeze.
That just went right through him. That's
Yeah.
cheating.
Yeah. Ha.
Despair shall endure.
Yeah. There. Hey, back off. Ha.
That allowed us to do a good amount of damage. We have him on his last health bar.
Ha. 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 Ha.
Take that.
Here. Ha. 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 Yeah.
Right.
Ha. Ha. Yeah.
Fire.
Ha. 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 Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Here. Hey. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Ha. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Yeah. Ha. Here. Ha. Yeah.
We're so there. We're so there! Someone was Pokemon Kingdom Hearts since Dream Drop Distance. I am doing well. I just beat that boss. Candy Wheel help me succeed. Does that mean I don't have to spin it? It doesn't mean that at all. Ginger Pastille. Hey, Salsa Man. He's Xehanort, you're Xehanort, I'm Xehanort. How many more Xehanorts should I know about? I think there should be 13 in total. At least we can count that. I did receive a package from my mother to help with the stream. This is a fresh thing of pine cones. I know that because it says Russian food. I haven't even opened it, and I know what it is. Oh, that ginger's extra weird after having some root beer. It's like it wants to be sweet. Past perfect. Prophetic. Perfect tense.
You. Again.
You just make it too easy. I know you think you've won, but you lost the moment you dived this far in. You're in the deepest pit of slumber, and you've worn yourself down to nothing. There's no returning to the world above.
What do you mean?
We told you. It was not the sleeping keyholes that guided you. They are not the reason you are here. You've been on a path, one we laid out for you. That sigil on your chest is the proof.
What?
I just thought these were
See?
stylish clothes. I bought them in Shibuya.
That sigil, the X. It tells us where you are at all times. You had wondered aloud before why we kept showing up where you were. It's because we need you, Sora. Or, to be more precise, we need what will be left of you. The 13th Dark Vessel.
See, that sounds dark and
Why?
ominous.
Why was it assured you would come here today? Because I followed my destined path, and I'm here looking at you right now. You can move through time, but time itself is immovable.
What does that even mean?
Today, all of my selves throughout time were meant to gather here. And to welcome you, Sora, as our 13th member. These facts cannot be changed.
What's gonna happen?
I have now told you all that I know.
You're gonna get Norded.
We are all here, and what the future holds in store is beyond my sight. I will return to my own time and grow into the man who becomes all these others. While I know this future now that I have lived it, returning to my own time will erase the memories and experiences I have gained here. Still,
Then what's the point of
my
the time
appointed
travel?
path is now etched in my heart, which will first lead me to seek the outside world.
Riku.
Your heart will sleep forever in the folds of darkness, and your body will be another vessel for me. So light gives way to darkness. Good night, Sora.
Get Norded, nerd. Instead of Snorta, which is funny. Soranort? My tongue is all tingly from the ginger. I wonder what this could mean. Who is Nortcourt? I hadn't heard that before. That's great. Oh, nope. Drinking root beer with that was a mistake. Iron Sora? Your sleepy boy? Yeah, so Sora's... one of the hearts Sora is tied to is that of Ventus. So that's Ventus protecting Sora's heart now.
End of the road, huh? I know I'm back in the real world, but I still have my Dream Eater powers.
What does that mean?
Which means he still hasn't woken up.
Doesn't that mean you're in his dream
Where
then?
are you,
Therefore you're not in the real world?
Sora?
Didn't you destroy this place?
Huh? A Dream Eater. Is that where Sora is? How do I get across?
That Komori bat is not going to have the lift power necessary.
Right. I get it.
Do you? Because I don't.
Yeah. Sora!
The Dream Eater theme is great. It is super bouncy and fun.
Hands off my new vessel.
Vessel?
Yes, we originally had our sights set on you, but you developed a certain resistance to darkness. So we did what the Keyblade did, and moved down the list. Roxas. Now there was a worthy candidate. But, unfortunately, he became too aware of himself, and returned to Sora. Organization 13's true goal is to divide Xehanort's heart among 13 vessels.
I don't think you can do that to a heart.
Thanks to you and Sora, we learned not all our candidates were fit for the task, but we managed to make up the difference. And now, Sora, the 13th vessel, is within our grasp.
13 Xehanorts?
Why is he telling Riku all this? Great question. Next question. I don't know,
What is-
hubris?
The real Organization 13.
The organization?
I am Xehanort from the most distant past.
What?
My future self gave me a task. To visit the splintered versions of myself in many worlds and ensure they gathered here today.
From the
But-
past?
This is time travel.
There
They
are
could have gathered at any
restrictions to
time.
movement through time. First, you must leave your body behind to do it. Then there must be a version of you waiting at the destination. Upon arrival, you can only move forward as per the laws of time.
So you can
And
bypass the
cannot
laws of time,
rewrite the
but then you have
events
to follow
that
them.
are destined to happen.
What have you done?
My
Kingdom Hearts
most
time travel
future
makes no
self
sense.
will arrive soon. Then time for all of us will return to normal. And I will go back to my era to live the life fate has in store.
Then why
He
did you
can
all
vouch
gather
for
here?
that.
And why do you break these rules in Kingdom Hearts 3?
I'm glad I'm not too late.
Mickey!
Just grab Sora so we can go. I can't stop them for long.
Okay.
You only cast the most
Mickey!
powerful form of stop.
I said hands off!
How can you be moving?
He's Xehanort. I mean, they could have gotten away with the time travel thing if it was like,
Oh no.
it's
Are you?
only in
Be
dreams.
gone!
And I'd be like, okay, fine. What's up, Yuna? Oh, it's this fight. This fight is tough. He has less health than the other versions, but he moves fast. He does time manipulation nonsense. I love the arena, though. It's such a cool arena. Prediction up. I didn't. I died before that could even finish. Oh no no no! Ah! I couldn't even get away. Ow.
Take this.
So I saw a really funny thing online. There was a video explaining why the Darth Vader saying, Luke, I am your father, like why that's worked so well plot-wise, and like blah, blah, blah. And someone commented like, no, it was really stupid because it was already confirmed in episode 3 and in these other series. We already knew that by the time we got to episode 5. And it's like, oh, my sweet summer child. I do like that there's certain attacks that he does that are actually very similar to what Xehanort does in Birth by Sleep, like the dark arrows sort of looking things. So like these. Ooh, no, 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 no. No, I don't want to be slow. No, 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 that's okay. No, no, no. It does suck we can't see the health bar. Yeah, I have to put my camera somewhere. That was short-lived. The problem is that the action commands have to start from nothing.
Prepare.
Ah.
Fire. Yeah.
Stop teleporting everywhere. You weird causality breaking weirdo. Man, Balloon is so busted. I can't believe I never used Balloon before this playthrough. Dang it! KMX. That fight was going well until it wasn't. I recall that Phase 2 isn't as bad as Phase 1, and we'll do the road to death after the fight. I do kind of need to focus on this fight. It's kind of an intense one. Why does Riku not have a counter? There we go, Shadow Strike. I love boss whose attacks perfectly sync up with your movements. So much fun.
Heal.
No, I was trying to get on to the pole to go in slow motion.
You're done. Heal.
That whip attack is just so brutal. Because, like, if you don't dodge or block it once, like, you're kind of done for. Well, the Dream Eaters have a lot of passives, which is what they're really useful for. Maybe I need to swap out my Dream Eaters to ones who have a... Because I don't think that this lion has a very complete... Four. Let's change our party. Honestly, maybe Petoni, actually. Let's see what that does to our health bar. Gives us a little more health. No, I didn't want Bond. Ability links. What is Petoni giving currently? Not a lot, actually. Treasure Magnet, Fire Screen. I wish there was a way in the change party that you could see their abilities. So attack haste, leaf bracer. Leaf bracers is actually kind of huge. Cootie and fish might be a good option. No, maybe Hootie and Fish is not such a good option. Okay, who else is decently high level? He might be decent. We have Rouge and Bat Bat. Bat Bat can stay. Maybe Snack. Okay, an HP boost, a magic haste, Slow block. That's actually huge, given the fight we're in. Magic boost, HP boost. Okay, I think this is the party we'll have to try and get in there with. I wish I had some defense boosts, but... Late charge is so good. Whoa, dear. Ow. Ow! Sir! Can you stop? I was at like 3/4 health there, and then he was just like, haha, ice. That was cheating. That fight was going well. Honestly, sliding dash is kind of really powerful here. Can you stop? No! Xehanort's war crime. I'm going to commit various war crimes. Like, no matter how much I block him, he will keep doing combos.
Take this. Yeah. Heal. Take this. Yeah. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Take this. Ha. Fire. Heal. Thunder! Yeah! Heal! Take this! Yeah! 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 Yeah!
I tried hitting triangles several times there, Taxation Lunara, and it just did not want to.
Heal! Take this! Take this!
We are so close. We are so close.
Time stop.
Phase 1 done.
Heal! Yeah!
You shall wander forever.
And I failed because I didn't get there in time to do the reality shift. So now we have to do phase 1 again. How dare I stop and think, I should heal before I go into the next phase. Although he only has 2 hit bars this time, it's not the whole fight. So there's some reprieve, I guess.
You're done! Heal! Yeah! 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 Heal! Yeah! Yeah! Ha! Ha! Take this! Yeah! Fire! Time stop.
Okay. This time we know reality shifts.
Yeah!
Nope.
Yeah! Yeah!
Whew, okay. Shoot, that's actually gonna... Oh, I barely got that.
Yeah! Ha! Yeah! Heal!
Got it. Get out of my way, Xehanort. I need to defeat your clock.
Heal! Ha! Take this! Fire! Yeah! Heal! Yeah!
Really cool idea of a boss fight, and I love the ambiance, but not the best execution.
Thunder! Heal! Yeah! Yeah!
No, they're Naruto running at me. They're nerds. They're weeaboos.
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh, now they're throwing recusant sigils at me.
Yeah! 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 Take this! Fire! Yeah!
Whew.
Are you okay, Riku?
Yeah. Thanks, Mickey.
Huh! Master Xehanort! We were right about you!
All of this was decided. My 12 selves would welcome me here on this day, when I would return a complete person. It is the future which lies beyond my sight.
Why are you doing this?
In ancient times, people believed that light was a gift from an unseen land by the name of Kingdom Hearts. But Kingdom Hearts was safeguarded by its counterpart, the Keyblade. Warriors vied for that precious light, thus beginning the Keyblade War. The violent clash shattered the Keyblade into 20 pieces. 7 of light and 13 of darkness. And the only real Kingdom Hearts was swallowed by the darkness, never to surface again. I once tried to create my own pure light and darkness to forge the Keyblade, but the attempt ended in failure. In my eagerness, I had lost sight of the correct way to achieve my goal. I acted rashly. I can admit that now.
What you did back then, your mistakes, changed the destinies of 3 of my friends.
But destiny is never left to chance. I merely guided them to their proper places. The broken boy who failed to be the blade. The misguided master who sacrificed herself for a friend. And the feckless youth who became my new vessel.
I couldn't find a way to save them. But I wanted to believe that their sacrifice stopped you for good. Why? How was I so blind? I should have seen it as soon as Maleficent started gathering the 7 princesses of heart.
Yes. They were all my doing.
Did it make you ever meet Terra?
I
Yeah, in
used
Birth by
the
Sleep.
evil fairy to find 7 pure lights for me. Just as I prepared 13 vessels to fill with pure darkness.
But
Hey,
you
Craig.
failed. Sora stopped you in your tracks on both counts.
Yes, he did. That dull, ordinary boy. A Keyblade wielder so unlike any I have ever seen. However, I have not abandoned my ambitions. The 7 Guardians of Light and the 13 Seekers of Darkness.
On the one hand, I want him to shut up because
7
he's the bad
Guardians
guy.
of Light?
On the other hand, it's Leonard Nimoy.
Well, for Keyblade wielders, there's me and Riku and Sora. And my 3 missing friends, that's 6. Then the 7th would be... That means the 13 Seekers of Darkness.
Yes, little king.
Except you wind up with more than
Perceptive.
7 figures of light. But anyway,
But Sora and another on your list belong to me now. And that puts you 3 Guardians short. But worry not. All of the pieces are destined to appear. Your 7 lights, just like my 13 darknesses, whose final clash will beget the prize I seek.
The
The
Keyblade.
Keyblade. But first, the 13 darknesses shall be united. All the seats have been filled. And now, the last vessel shall bear my heart like the rest.
No! Sora!
Axel!
As if we couldn't tell by the chakram and fire.
Axel? Please. The name's Lee. Got it memorized?
You're not supposed to be here!
Promises to keep. I'll always be there to get my friends back. What? Bad timing? You had your perfect little script, but you kind of forgot to write the sequel. Now, let's find out what happens.
Ugh. What now, you old coot? Our time is up!
Isa.
It's
Why
the
are
least
you
intimidating
here,
Keyblade I
Axel?
could have
No,
brought.
I told you my name's... Whatever. Axel. Fine. Now let's get out of here.
Right.
Were we supposed to do that?
Yes.
I think so.
Goofy, Donald, you saved us.
We are out of time. Neither the union of light nor darkness has been achieved. We must all return whence we came. But the gathering of the 7 and 13 is nigh. Let us finish this at the fated place, once your lights and my darknesses have joined together.
You know, you could have just written us a letter. Yeah, JM, this... As crazy as Kingdom Hearts plot is, there are scenes that are just awesome. Hey, Tantalus, the fated place, where's that? Why, the Keyblade Graveyard, of course.
Seven lights, 13 darknesses. Master Xehanort has been busy.
Oh.
Aw, Sora. Don't tell me your heart's sleeping too.
No, Mickey. This affliction is not the same.
Can we do anything for him?
Yeah.
In your Mark of Mastery exam, you were to unlock 7 sleeping keyholes. By doing so, you would awaken those worlds from their prison of slumber, and also acquire the power to free a heart from its sleep. Riku, you unlocked those keyholes within Sora's dreams. Therefore, it stands to reason that you now have the power to awaken Sora's heart.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
You
Wait.
want him to dive back into Sora's sleep? But, Master, Sora's heart is down in the darkest abyss. If Riku's not careful, he might just get trapped down there with him. No, I'll go instead.
And perhaps you may even succeed, Mickey. But there is no denying Riku stands the better chance, having dived into Sora's heart as long as he has.
Mickey, I really appreciate it, but I'll go wake Sora up.
Riku,
Look at his face. sleeping like nothing's wrong. Like there's nothing to even worry about. He's always been like that. The three of us would agree to work on the raft. And then this guy would go take a nap on the beach.
I mean, that's true,
You
but
see,
he did also
it's my job
collect all
to
the
keep
wood.
him on
and
his
the-
toes. Besides, what kind of Keyblade master sleeps through his test? I'm doing it for me too. Sora saved me once. And I heard him call my name. He needs me.
There's something real strong that binds us to each other. Even in the darkness, you can reach him. All you gotta do is follow that connection.
Oh, the Papu fruit?
Gee, we're all connected to Sora.
I mean, it's strongly implied
And if the
metaphysically that
darkness
Sora
gets you,
shared it with Kyrie.
I promise I'll bail you out. Dark Rescue's my middle name.
It's a weird middle
Guys,
name.
thank you. Sora and I will be back soon.
Fremont.
Yeah.
Tag 30 Soras. Oh, I thought it meant the windows.
Nice.
Nope, I missed all of those. Get out of here, Anti-Sora. This feels like a precursor to Abidden 3. I have collected enough Soras.
This abyss. Am I in Sora's dream? What?
Oh yeah, this fight. I forgot about this fight. this fight's more for show difficulty compared to the Xehanort fight.
Great.
Although he does heal, it seems. That's obnoxious. Oh, I got caught in his combo there. This fight is extra hard for me. Not like in a fundamental way, but like from a lighting perspective, because it's dark on dark, and I have a bright light shining directly in my face. It is a very aesthetic fight, though, I'll give it that. No. Leave me alone. Fighting the darkness has new meaning. It does. It's kind of like today's gospel. To get back to the Rototem earlier, I think I can do that during this fight. It's Christ saying, you don't put new wine into old wineskins, put it into new wineskins. Feels incredibly obvious, but you know, just the sense of newness, especially at the beginning of the calendar year for us. Just what is the newness? What are the new things Christ is inviting us to, and what are the new things he's inviting us to put them into, if that makes sense? Like new relationships, new forms of prayer. What's the newness that Christ is calling us to and inviting us to?
Fire! Thunder!
We're on his last health bar, by the way. That would have been so clutch if that fire had finished the fight. That's shot lock. Did we win? Did we out-animate him? I think we out-animated him. Sorry, the fight was so loud you can hear the rotoda. Christ is inviting his followers to talk about new wineskins. And I said, it's a good reflection for us at the start of our year to reflect on what are the new things Christ is inviting us to, and the new things he's inviting us to put them into, like relationships, new forms of prayer, etc.
Sora!
Hey, Dio. Don't get lost, Sora. You got lost.
I'll find you, Sora.
Why is Riku now young Riku? Because of the power of dreams.
Roxas?
What is it that you're so afraid of?
Huh?
Getting trapped in the darkness, causing someone to be hurt, losing something that's important. I'm gonna go with causing someone to be hurt.
Causing someone to be hurt.
Can Riku go to Sora's heart? Yeah, but Sora's asleep. So it's dream heart.
Roxas? No. Wait.
What is the one thing you care about more than anything else?
Huh?
The heart's king, my light, my close friends, the strength to protect others. I feel like 3 is the most Riku answer.
The strength to protect others. What is going on?
These are all the hearts connected to Sora's.
Sora!
No. Still not Sora. Not even close to being Sora.
Huh? Who are you?
Riku, what do you wish?
More questions. All right.
I mean, I guess she is close to being Sora, but I meant like visually. Like hair is wrong, outfit is wrong, hair color is wrong.
I wish
Everyone's either Xehanort or Sora. Protect my friends to recover something important, to heal pain from the past. Protect my friends.
to get back to the real world and protect my friends.
Hey, wish for more questions. The Riku's yearn for the question minds. I don't know if these questions have any meaning, actually. I always forget it's a thing.
What's this?
I tend to think of the fight in the organization
You
throne
are
room
not
as
the
the end.
visitor I expected.
Diz! I mean, Ansem the Wise. What are you doing here?
Perhaps I wanted to atone for events of the past, even if no apology can undo the harm I have wrought. I felt that I ought to leave at least something behind. So I digitized myself and my research and hid them within Sora.
So this is...
Oh, a
data?
secret ending. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yes. A clue, I hope, to finding yourselves or your lost friends. in
No, I
your
don't think
hour
it's
of
Christopher Lee,
need.
because I think Christopher Lee died before this.
The heart has always been quick to grow. Each exposure to light, to the natural world, to other people, shapes this most malleable part inside of us. Nobody's
Oh, and maybe
are
it
not
is actually.
different from us in that manner. Sora was the only one able to return to his human form without destroying his nobody. That is a statement to the love in his heart for other people and the bonds that tie them together. Perhaps
His name is Corey Burton. He also
has
does
the
Yensid's
power
voice.
to bring back the hearts and existences of those connected to him. To recreate people we thought were lost to us forever.
I can hear a little of the
Our
Yensid
most
in his voice.
precious treasures. Even an empty puppet. The trees of the forest. And the petals on the wind. There are hearts around us everywhere we look. And it does not take superhuman powers to see them. Surely we remember as children the way our hearts made everything seem so shiny and perfect. Sora has a heart like that, uncorrupted, willing to see the good before the bad. When he sees the heart in something, it then becomes real. When a connection seems broken, he may have the power to mend it. He has touched countless hearts. He has accepted them, and he has saved them. And some of those hearts have never left him, whether they fell into darkness or were trapped there, whether they sleep in the darkness of Sora's heart, or were welcomed into its warmth. They can be saved. All Sora needs to do is be himself and follow wherever it is that his heart takes him. It is the best and the only way. The rest is in there.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
Of course. Now, why is it that you are here?
I kinda need to wake Sora up.
Don't tell me he's gone to sleep again.
Yeah. What'll I do with him?
What, indeed? Never fear. Sora is safe.
Huh?
He's not here. You see, by defeating the nightmare imprisoning Sora, you freed him.
You mean the Sora wrapped in that black phantom?
Then you came here, and you were questioned by 3 young people. That was the final key to awaken him. Sora is awake. You can go home now.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah, soon there's going to be more Soras than Xehanorts. It's just going to really cause this huge imbalance. It's the whole problem. Hey, Asphodel, good to see ya. It sounds a lot like Christopher Lee, but it's not. It's the same guy who does the voice of Yensid, whose name I forget already.
I do not believe you ever told me your name.
It's Riku.
Bye, Riku. Where did these chairs come from?
Riku! Sora! Huh?
Hey, Donald! Come on, you're hogging it all.
Calm down, Sora, and drink your tea.
Gosh, it sure is yummy.
Hey! Riku! You're safe! Riku!
Wait, haven't we got this backwards? And why are you having a tea party?
You're safe, Riku!
Oh, never mind. You okay? Feeling all right?
Yeah, I've never been better.
Except that I've lost all my power for
watching
plot
what was
reasons.
going on in my dream, and I could hear your voice the whole time. Thanks, Riku. Thanks, everybody.
What kind of high tea doesn't have little sandwiches?
Oh yeah! Did we pass the test?
You performed truly admirably, both of you. More than anything, I am grateful to have you both back from Xehanort's deception unharmed. And I am grateful to Lee, whose spontaneous actions turned the tides. I am also deeply sorry for failing to perceive the danger and throwing you headlong into a perilous test. This experience has revealed many hidden truths, and we must gird ourselves for the great clash with darkness that lies before us. I believe we need a new Keyblade Master, one with a new kind of power. Sora and Riku, you both deserve the honor. However, one of you braved the realm of sleep again to unlock the final keyhole and save a friend. Riku, I name you our new true Keyblade Master.
Way to go, Riku!
Yeah?
I knew you were gonna pass with flying colors. This is just so awesome.
Gee, Sora, you're kind of acting like it's you that passed.
Good job, Riku.
Sora still needed some practice.
Hey!
Really? I'm a Keyblade Master?
Congratulations, Riku.
Celebratory white.
Thank you, Mickey. I owe it to my friends.
I'll catch up with you in no time flat.
What? You want to be a Keyblade Master?
Yeah. I mean, I came here to learn how to wield one.
You?
Hey, thanks for the vote of confidence. You know I was gonna come swooping in, Keyblade in hand. But I just couldn't get mine to materialize. Must be in the snap of the wrist or something. Oh.
Wow!
Even Jensen's surprised. Leeblade.
Do you have to go?
Well, I did doze off. I just have some stuff to take care of.
Are you gonna be okay?
Yeah, I won't be long.
Be careful.
Very careful.
Yeah, it does feel a
Right.
little forced that
See you soon.
Axel got the Keyblade. It could have been just fine, but I guess it completes the trio with Roxas and Shion. And they all go gallivanting with their Keyblades together.
And you and I, there's a new
And they all lived happily ever after.
my sanctuary, where fears and lies melt away.
Nothing bad ever happened again. No lessons were learned.
What's left of me? What's left of me now? I watch you fast asleep. All I fear means nothing.
We play more game today? Maybe. What do folks think? Because the vote was decided. The next RPG. Turn that down just a little bit. Next RPG is Pokemon TCG. We could do that. We could watch the Union Cross movie. I have time for Barbie's Seahorse Adventures. The problem with that is I don't own Barbie's Seahorse Adventures. Just a little technical difficulty. But otherwise, you're not wrong. Enjoy your afternoon. Well, it is a federal holiday. I took a nap this morning. It felt so nice. It's free open source? Something tells me it's not legally licensed, then. Man.
My sanctuary, where fears and lies melt away.
Is the name of the seahorse. No relation. Fair enough. That's one way to get around it. But with a title like that, you have to admit. I'm looking this up now.
My fears, my lies melt away.
I was not expecting a Mario clone. You submitted some cards to PSA. I've heard some questionable things about PSA recently. Yeah, I do plan on doing the Union Cross thing at some point. That might be like a bonus stream or something. Xemnas has the voice actor has such a like Catholic name, Paul St. Peter. Bubble Bobble plus old style platformer. In fact, Cthulhu on a moon. Cthulhu has a hat. Does he have a hat we want? Is that it? No, I came back. I don't remember all the details. It was just kind of this thing of like, I think it was like people like resubmitting things until they got a 10 from PSA, and thus kind of calling into question the whole point of it and the way that it's become such a speculative market of its own. Cthulhu on the Moon sounds fun. It sounds appropriate. I do have Cthulhu Saves the World. Just a silly little RPG. Jesse McCartney, Jesse McCartney. If I played 3, would I play Remind? Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, the plan... So the plan is that the next game is Pokemon TCG, and after that it will be 3. And what I'm doing for 3 is we'll do 0.2 back cover first, and then we'll do 3, and with that we'll do Remind. So we'll kind of do that all together, as counting it as 3. Yeah, playable credit sequences. With a secret message. Yozora? Why won't they just let him make, I don't even remember what that game is called now. Well, why won't they just let him make Final Fantasy 13 Versus? Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. That's right. Thank you so much for playing my game. Hey, little monster. A father joke? Well, this is fitting because it just snowed here in New York. What do you call a snowman who goes to the gym and is just like, you know, really ripped, just has really well-defined muscles? You call him an abdominal snowman. Such. You can say he's packed. Also good. Secret message Secret message unlocked. This. Apparently the secret message is this. Subscribe to Disney Plus. Nah, they don't exist. I admit to the existence of Kingdom Hearts on Disney Plus. This is a secret message. Well, I can't argue with that logic. No, not Birth by Sacred Drop. But yes, it has Tui. Yeah, this is a great theme. I love the use of the organ in it. I'm trying to remember the name of the track. The problem is, sometimes trying to find a particular Kingdom Hearts track. I have the full Kingdom Hearts soundtrack on Spotify. 21 hours. 21 hours long. I mean, to be fair, it's like 10 games. Darn, you have to go re-listen to that soundtrack. Hey, 3 streams to you. Thank you, little monster. Oh, Raphael's battle theme in Baldur's Gate? Okay, cool. I haven't played BG3. I might play Baldur's Gate the original at some point on stream. Has anyone been paying attention to the letters? There's letters? Oh. Hey, you take care, Yuna. Tried to play 2 and you couldn't? Was it like a it's too old and doesn't work on modern computers kind of thing, or just couldn't get into it? Both are valid. Too old and kind of clumsy? Yeah, that's fair. We are sometimes spoiled by quality of life improvements in series and games as they go on. Subjective. Insert disc prompts. I mean, when I played Ribbon, every time you switch islands, you're supposed to swap discs. And thank goodness you don't have to do that on the Steam version. Secret message. I don't think this cutscene is canonical.
Good. I was hoping this world was still here. But where are they?
He had to go take care of some stuff on his own. What does he do?
Oh, there!
He goes and parties with his Pokemon. I don't remember making this many. Maybe this is why Sora doesn't have any power left at the beginning of 3. He spent it all creating Dream Eaters. Little smile from Ventus. The end. We did it. Clear time, 16 hours on the dot. Most used flow motion super jump. You don't say. Best spirit friend. Maha, let's go. Yeah, my other option was to, if I was still getting stuck on that one fight, was to go back to this one, where I'm a little higher level. We love the French.
Ah, the French.
I think we're going to call it for the day. A little bit shorter than a usual Monday, I know, but I think that's a good place to call it. And with the time we have left, not quite enough to get into anything. Not enough for the Union Cross movie. It's 80 minutes long. But yeah, we did it. We beat Dream Drop Distance, and we have 2 more Kingdom Hearts games. Let's see if we can beat them before 4 comes out. So that'll be fun. I will play 4 off stream first myself, just because I'm such a diehard nerd. I'm not waiting till stream. But yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow. We're going to be wrapping up In His Time, so that'll be interesting. Wednesday, Minecraft. I think we're going to start working on a library. I think that's what I want to build next in that world. And then Thursday, Banjo-Kazooie. Probably finishing Banjo-Kazooie because we only have 1 world left, really. And I think that's everything. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna send you on over to Neon and Plataloaf, mostly because I don't get a chance to raid him, because he's usually streaming in the evening. He's a fun guy. He's playing Hytale, but I got to hang out with him at Reach. I knew him before that, but I got to meet him in person at Reach, which was cool. But yeah, raid call is either Father Raid or Dream Raid, because we just finished Dream Drop Distance. I think that's funny. But yeah, go give Neon some love. And again, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.